There we go. I can't believe how cold it is. It's actually raining outside and I'm in this big jumper again in July. But we will start today's more dynamic flow lying down. And you can start with the feet on the floor, the knees knocking into touch. You could have the legs out wide, maybe a cushion under the knees, if that feels more comfortable for the lower back. So there's a few different ways you can get set up for the beginning. And feel free to sort of wriggle out a little bit here. You might want to circle the hands, circle the feet, maybe take a full body stretch, or even rock the knees a little bit side to side. And then when you're ready, get settled in your lying down position with some kind of stillness, no rush to get to the stillness. Hiya, Zara. We're just starting lying down in whichever way is comfortable for you. And so once you do get to lying down, you can start to get a sense of the heaviness in the back of the head. Maybe there's a way to relax across the jaw a little bit, soften the space between the eyebrows. And take these first few moments to notice the ground beneath, so all the points of contact between the body and the ground. And you can imagine that everything's sort of settling here as you arrive. So maybe you think of like a snow globe that's been shaken, and the whole activity of the day is that sort of snow floating around. And it's starting to still and drop to the bottom as you take this quiet moment to begin your yoga practice this evening, or whatever time of day you're catching up. And today we're doing a Vinyasa flow style of yoga. So Vinyasa is the Sanskrit word meaning to place in a special way. So it's really about placing our postures together in a sequence, in a flow. And the postures are placed quite intentionally in the way that the sequence is designed, and we can get really creative with it. So we'll be doing a variety of postures in one flow today. But as always, we're starting with this quiet moment. And what I really wanted today's flow to be themed around is a sense of reconnecting to your wholeness. So we can think about all different parts of the body working together, rather than there being different parts in isolation. We'll practice today thinking about how everything is part of a team, part of a whole network, a system, from the top of the head all the way down to the tips of the toes. So the upcoming movements we're about to do will involve different parts of the body to help you balance, stretch, and explore movement in a variety of different ways. So to begin with, take an inhale through the nose. Maybe it's really quite a deep, full, expansive breath into your belly, rib cage, and exhale out the mouth in a big sigh. You could do that a couple more times, so that big, full, expansive inhale through the nose, and then a long sigh out the mouth. One more time, big breath in, feel that sense of expansion on the inhale, and then release it with an audible sigh if that feels comfortable. From there, wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, and start to roll the head side to side so you can still feel the heaviness of the back of the head. If you have a cushion under the knees, you can pop that to one side and reach the arms up overhead. Gently squeeze the legs together, point the toes, spread the palms, reach the fingers away, reach the toes away, make yourself as long as possible. Take an inhale here, and then exhale to bend the knees, hug the arms around the shins or behind the thighs, whichever works for you. And take a little rock side to side. From there, place the feet on the ground. And we did this in the first class, these pelvic tilts. We're going to build on them a little bit more in this one, but to begin with, your feet are on the floor, your knees are pointing towards the ceiling. The arms can rest by your sides. As you inhale, feel a sense of fullness in the rib cage and the belly, a little arc in the lower back. And then as you exhale, draw your lower ribs towards your hip bones and you're flattening your back into the mat. Inhale, you've got the sense of ballooning out through the belly, a little arc in the lower back. And exhale, you're flattening the back into the mat, like you want to draw your hip bones towards your belly button. So you can keep doing this with the breath. Inhale to arc and flatten with the exhale. And notice how even though the movement is fairly isolated because it's kind of steering from the lower spine, can you feel it ripple out into other parts of the body? So maybe you notice the chin moving slightly closer to the chest and further away as you tilt the pelvis. Might be really subtle movements that you notice spreading out into different parts of the body. We'll pause there, so you come back into a neutral. Interlace your fingers and place the hands beneath the back of the head. So your elbows are out on the ground, towards the ground. We'll take an inhale here. You might even press your elbows slightly into the ground. And then exhale, we'll bring the elbows in towards each other and we'll reach the elbows up and away. So we're lifting the head and the shoulder blades off the floor. Inhale to lower, the elbows will find the ground again. And then exhale, we've got this lift up. And you can keep the gaze kind of up diagonally away, so you're not crunching too much into the neck. Think of having a long back of the neck as you lift up and down. And you can keep going with the exhale, helping you up, the inhale, gathering you back to the floor. And as you're doing this, start to notice a little bit of heat beginning to build in your center. If you're avoiding core work at the moment, you can also continue with the pelvis tilts on the ground. Count a couple more of these. And then when you've done your last one, let everything settle and relax back to the floor. So for you, that might be the legs out long, it might be the feet a little wider, the knees knocking into touch. Take a moment, perhaps with the hand on the lower ribs, to come back to the sensation of the breath. So as you inhale, can you feel the ribcage expand on the in-breath? And as you exhale, can you feel a gentle sense of the lower ribs drawing down? Okay, from here, let's bring the knees roughly above the hips. Shins are parallel-ish to the ceiling. Arms reach up, so hands are above the shoulders, palms facing towards each other, like you're holding a giant beach ball above your chest. Great. From here, get a sense of the back of the head heavy, the shoulder blades heavy, the back of the pelvis heavy. And you might notice here how the core is already starting to switch on a little bit to hold this position before we've even done any movement. Let's take an inhale to lower the right toes down, reach the left arm up and away diagonally. And exhale to draw back in. Inhale, left toes or heel come down, right arm reaches up and away, and exhale to gather back. And you can keep going with this. So the exhale always gathers you back to the center. The inhale is when you reach away. If you like, instead of keeping the knee bent, you might actually reach the heel away and straighten the leg on the exhale and then bend back to center. So up to you. See how it feels. Whether you want to try with the lengthening out of the leg and the heel kind of hovers above the ground, or whether you're going for the toe taps or the heel taps with the knee bent. And let your body be the guide here. So you might find already that you're starting to fatigue and that you want to take a rest. Or you might be feeling that you want to do this for a little bit longer, like you're starting to feel into the heat building in the core. Everyone's going to have differing capacities. So you've got some time to keep going or to take a rest. Fab. And then if you haven't already taken a rest, let's wrap the arms all together around the legs. Take that little rock side to side. You might even like to curl the nose up towards the knees. And then rest the head back down again. Let's bring the big toes to touch. Cut the left knee in the left hand, the right knee in the right hand. We'll bring the knees wide. And think about a Venn diagram shape here. So you're stirring the knees in circles that meet in the middle. So they come in towards you, out and away. Oh, I think I just saw a flash of lightning here outside. So all the while, you've still got that heaviness in the back of the head, heaviness in the shoulder blades, in the pelvis. Okay, from there, we are going to make our way up to seated, and there's a couple of options to get there. You could either roll to one side and then help yourself up to seated, or you could take hold of the backs of the thighs and take a few rocks, maybe about 5 rocks up and down the mat. And if you're going for the rocking option, let's see if on the last rock you can find a little bit of balance. So you rock up, roll the shoulders up, back and down, keep the feet lifted, and see if you can balance on the seat bones. If you've done your roll over and sit up, then you can find the same posture. Hug behind the thighs and lift the feet. And there's this space between the collarbones here, so the shoulders are rolling back and down. You might find that your feet and hands come to the ground and you explore this more in a more restorative way. If you're holding it, you might want to play with straightening the legs, maybe one and then the other, or releasing the arms and reaching them away. How does that feel? Get a sense of the lower ribs hugging down as well. And remember, we can explore this posture with the feet on the floor, with the hand on the floor. Always options. Great. Wherever you are, let's hold this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find the floor with the feet if they're not there already. Then we'll all inhale to reach the arms up, grow long through the sides of the body. And exhale to drape the upper body over the legs so the head can drop, the arms straight over the leg. You might even make a pillow for your head, bending at the elbows and resting the head in your hands. Take a moment here. Breathe into the space between the shoulder blades. And with every breath out, let the shoulders relax forward a little bit more. There might be a sense of heaviness in the head as it's dropped forwards. And when you are ready, let's roll on over to tabletop. So we've got our feet, not our feet, our knees beneath our hips, our hands beneath our shoulders, or thereabouts, doesn't have to be exact. And let's pad out the hands a few times so you can really face all different sides as you press through the knuckles, press through the fingertips, palms. Then have the fingers facing forwards, and we'll keep a little bit of a softness in the elbows. So it's like I don't know what these are actually called. The eyes of the elbows are like looking at each other. If you stuck a googly eye on this part of the elbow, it's like the elbow pit. Then imagine that the googly eyes are looking at each other. We'll inhale to arc the belly down, chest faces forwards. And then exhale to round through the back, letting the head drop, and maybe the arms lengthen a bit more. Inhale, softness in the elbows, a little bend as you post the chest through the arms. And exhale to round. And keep exploring your cat-cows here. So inhale always arcs the belly down, and exhale rounds through the back. And feel free to veer off into different kinds of movement if you like here. You can stick to the cat-cows, or you might sort of wave the hips side to side, maybe take more of a circle motion from your tabletop position. Could drop back to a child's pose, maybe a figure of 8 with the hips. Fab. Then when you are ready, come back to your stillness and tabletop. And we are going to think about lifting the rib cage up and away from the ground. So we're not completely rounding the back like we were doing before. We can keep the gaze down to the ground so the back of the neck is long, and then feel for reaching the rib cage up and away from the floor. You can take a peek at me if you need to. We're then going to keep with this sense of the lower ribs drawing in and the hip bones drawing towards the belly button to reach the right fingers forward. They can graze the ground. The left toes back. Again, they can graze the ground. This might be enough for you. You might stay close to the floor, or you might find balance here, reaching the right hand forward and the left heel back. And we're keeping with that sense of stability in the pelvis. So we'll try and imagine there's like a spirit level on the right at the lower back, on the sacrum. And we're trying to keep it level, not wobble side to side. Fantastic. Let's inhale here. And exhale to gather back to center, much like we did before on our backs. Inhale to reach, graze the floor, and then maybe lift, maybe stay close to the ground. You've got that sense of not leaning too much side to side, so you're trying to keep things as still as possible. Inhale with this length. Exhale to center, slow, controlled. Then let's do that a few times. Inhale to reach, you can stay on the ground or lift. And then exhale to gather it back. Other side, inhale, reach, exhale, gather to center. And I'll let you do that in your own count, your own pace. You might have already had enough, and maybe you come to child's pose to rest, or to a kneeling position to circle out the wrists. It can be a lot for the wrists. If you're used to doing a lot of planks and stuff, then maybe this is completely fine and in your comfort zone. So work with where you're at. There is some time to do about 3 more on each side if you're still going. If you're resting, then enjoy your rest, and well done for listening to your body if that's what you need. Okay, we will all eventually meet back in our tabletop. And with my mat keeps sliding all the way close to the sofa, I'm going to pull it out. We are going to take our left lower leg out to the side a little bit, so out to the left like a little kickstand, all the way into the left hand, And the right foot comes back. So the right foot is roughly in line with the knee, roughly in line with the hand, so that we can open up into a supported side plank. This feels too much for your bottom wrist. Might be interesting to turn it into more of a fist rather than have the hand flat on the ground. See how it is? And we're going to make some big circles with this right arm. So they can be quite slow. And then we will reach that right arm up for a hold. So you can stay in your supported plank with the left knee down. If you feel like you want to explore something a little more challenging, you might bring the legs together and lift the hips off the floor. But even with the knee down can be super challenging. So again, it depends with what you're working with at the moment. This is definitely enough for me. So we'll connect to the breath, keep an inhale long and exhale, steady, smooth. When you're ready, let's come back to all fours and then kneeling. We'll bring the wrists together and circle them in and out a few times. And then also interlace the fingers and take a little bit of a waving motion. And finally clasp the hands together and then turn them a few times there. We're going to come onto a side plank on the other side. So I'll start in tabletop. Take the right lower leg out like a little kickstand. Pour into the right side. The left foot comes back. We reach the left arm up. Once you've found your balance and your stability here, you might rearrange the positioning a little bit. Get the foundation set up, and then we'll take the circles with the left arm. Nice. Check in with the face, relax the face, relax the jaw. Maybe part the teeth a little bit. And then reach the left arm up for your hold. Again, there is the option to bring the feet together and squeeze the legs together, or keep that right knee on the floor. You've got a sense of grounding and rooting through the hand on the ground, and then that lift and lightness through the fingertips that are in the air. Take a few steady breaths here. And then with your next exhale, find your way to a child's pose. So the knees can be nice and wide, the big toes to touch. Reach the hands forward, the head to the ground. You might have cushions between the heels and the seat bones. You might also stack the fists beneath the head for some extra support if the head is not making contact with the ground. Take a few moments here. Deep breath in and long breath out. Here we are next going to lift the head. Find your tabletop again, but this time tuck your toes under, step the hands forward, maybe about like one hand foot forwards, and then lean your upper body forward so that your shoulders are above your knuckles. And there's a slight sense here of pressing the hands into the ground, maybe also a sense of the points between your shoulder blades reaching up to the sky. We'll take an inhale here as you gaze at the floor. Exhale to bring either the belly towards the thighs and the bum to the heels, or lean back a little bit. Inhale to come forwards and exhale to lean back. You might find yourself coming far back so that your head comes towards the floor, or maybe it's more like a midpoint here. But either way, each time you inhale forwards, there's a press of the ground. And when you exhale back, there's a sense of softness in the hips. Okay, that is the option to keep with this. So you inhale forward, you exhale backwards, you're close to the ground. The knees stay on the ground. Or another option to explore would be to come into a plank with the knees lifted. On your exhale, you bend the knees, they kind of hover above the ground as you start to press your belly to your thighs. Drop your head, reach your hips up and back, and you're coming towards a downward facing dog. And the inhale would travel you back to a plank with the knees lifted. Then the exhale, you'd start to wave back until you find your downward dog. And if all of that is too much, you can also do this from kneeling, simply swaying forwards and backwards. So I just love how many options there are in any yoga flow or yoga practice. We can always adapt it. Okay, when you are ready, the invitation next is to either find a downward facing dog and wiggle a little bit here. So raise one heel, then the other. You might find a child's pose or simply a seated posture where you can take a moment of stillness to reconnect with the breath. Wherever you are, let the face be soft. And really feel the points of contact between the body and the ground. So in your down dog, it'll be the hands on the floor, the feet on the floor. Child's pose, it'll be your head on the floor, the legs on the floor. Seated, you'll notice the seat bones supported. With each inhale, feel the rib cage expand on the in-breath. And with each exhale, ground your awareness into the points of contact between the body and the floor. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to find our way in a forward fold at the top of the mat. So from down dog, you could walk the feet forwards and then drape the upper body over. From child's pose, you might take a little bit longer to get there, going gently, and eventually find your way to your forward fold. The knees can be really bent, the head down. This might be a little bit irritating for lower back if you've got any issues there, so you can also take it as more of an L shape. I often do that when my sacroiliac joints are causing me bother. So that would be a little bend in the knees, hands on the thighs or shins, and gazing down the nose to keep the back of the neck long. So you're either in your L shape or you're draping the upper body over, letting the head drop, letting the hands take hold of opposite elbows perhaps. And you can even take a sway side to side. That sway can be done with the head down or from your L shape. Keep with your deep, full breaths as you're doing this. And then when you're ready, let's all find the L shape. So if you've got your head down, take an inhale to find your flat back position. Imagine someone can balance a little tray on your lower back. From there, let's take the arms behind so the palms can face in towards the hips. And you might notice that this starts to switch certain parts of the glutes on. We will inhale to hinge our way up. And exhale to turn the palms to face forwards. Let's take a moment in our Tadasana. So our feet will be about hips width apart. And there could be a little bend in the knees, little bend in the elbows, the palms face forwards. There's a real sense of lifting tall through crown of the head. So see if you can lift up out of the waist as you stand here. You can get the same feeling in seated as well, of that feet on the floor, palms forward, lifting through crown of the head, lots of length in both sides of the body. When you're ready, let's inhale to reach the arms up. And exhale to fold over. So take the right foot back, the right knee down. And inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale to find your tabletop. Inhale to arc the belly down, chest faces forwards. Exhale to round the back and either lean back to child's pose or to downward facing dog. Take a few moments to reorientate your awareness back to the breath. So feel the fullness of your inhale, the emptying of your exhale. Then if you're in child's pose, start to roll up to tabletop. And from down dog or tabletop, we'll step the right foot forwards. You might need to help it forwards a little bit, see how you go. So that we can inhale the arms up back to a lunge. Good, let's exhale to take a big step forwards and find your forward fold. Then inhale, reach the arms all the way to the sky. And exhale, the palms come to heart center. Hands back to Tadasana. Fab, inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale to lower. This time the left foot is coming back, the left knee down. And we will inhale to reach the arms up, lots of length. Exhale to your all fours. Inhale, soften the elbows, chest faces forward, belly arcs down. Exhale, round the back, drop it straight to child's pose or take the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Take a few rounds of breath here. In and out, head heavy, shoulders soft. Then wave up from child's pose, if that's where you are. And from your downward facing dog or your child's pose, step your left foot forwards. And we will inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale to come all the way forwards, drop the head. Inhale to reach the arms all the way up. And then exhale, palms to heart center. Bring the arms by the side for Tadasana again. And take a moment to feel the feet on the ground. To feel the rise up through the crown of the head. When you're ready, let's inhale, reach the arms up, find that length. Exhale, there's a slight hinge from the hips to find your way to forward fold. This time we will inhale flat back, so hands to shins or thighs. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Then inhale, reach the head, the top of the head away from you. Exhale to fold. We will step it all the way back, either to a plank with the knees lifted or to a plank with the knees on the floor. So your choice. And once you're there, let's take an inhale to press the floor with the hands. And an exhale to lower the chest down so the elbows draw inwards. Hands can walk forwards a little bit as you inhale to lift the chest. The shoulders draw down away from the ears. Exhale, forehead finds the ground. And inhale back to downward facing dog or to child's pose. And you can keep holding your downward facing dog or your child's pose whilst I also show a demonstration from the chair. So one of the ways that we can do sun salutations from the chair is to start in Tadasana, same as it would be standing. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale to fold forwards. Inhale, lift the right foot off the floor and squeeze the right knee in, and that's your lunge variation. Exhale, down. Inhale, the left foot lifts, you hug the left knee in, again, lunge variation. Exhale, place the foot down. You can push the hands away from you and take an inhale here. And then exhale to draw the elbows back and feel that length between the collarbones. Inhale, reach them forward. Exhale, back. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, down to lower. So there's always different ways that you can adapt what's going on if ever you need to use the chair. So if you're on the mat, step the feet up to the hands. And we'll take an inhale to find that halfway lift again, so there's long back. And then exhale to drop the head. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Palms touch as you exhale. The palms come in front of the heart space, and let's take a pause there. So the palms are together, the feet are really planting down. There's a lift up through the crown of the head, maybe a slight tuck of the chin so you can really feel the length in the back of the neck. And come back to the breath here. Notice how it feels to breathe. And notice if anything's changed in your body since you first arrived. So maybe you're a little bit warmer, maybe not. From there, bring the hands by the side again for Tadasana. Take an inhale to reach the arms up, lots of length. Exhale to fold forwards, drop the head. Inhale to find your halfway lift, so hands could be on shins or thighs as you lengthen the back. And then exhale, take it back to a plank. Either knees lifted or knees on the floor, whatever works for you. Take an inhale to really press the ground. Then exhale, the knees and the chest down. You might walk the hands a little further forward as you untuck the toes. Let's take an inhale to reach the chest up, roll the shoulders back. And then exhale, lower the head. So you can do this a few times. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. And then the next time that you're about to come up, let's see what it's like to lift the head and lift the hands at the same time. So there's a sense of the shoulder blades drawing together behind you. The hands are lifting. You keep the gaze down at the ground. Press the pelvis into the mat. Press the tops of the feet into the mat as you stay lifted. Take an inhale here with the hands off the floor, so the hands are bouncing off the ground. And then exhale to lower. Then you can take a pause here. You might want to wing the elbows out, stack the hands as a little pillow for your head. Take a moment resting on your belly. And feel the pressure between the backs of the hands and the forehead, the space between the eyebrows. So if lying on your belly isn't working for you, you can also do this from seated. Elbows on the legs if that works, and hands clasped to apply a little bit of pressure to the brow. You can even rock your head side to side, feeling a slight massage out across the forehead. So the head is heavy, there's that little bit of pressure from the hands to the brow. From here, find your way either to tabletop or to downward facing dog. I'll let you know what we're actually going to be doing so that you can decide which variation you want to do. What we're going to do is either downward facing dog, we'll come to three-legged dog, and we're going to do a series of inhaling to reach back and exhaling to travel forward to plank. So we'd do elbow to knee, we'd come back on the inhale, exhale under, then we're going to do another back and to the nose. That is pretty dynamic. You might want to do it from tabletop, working on stability, so that you would exhale to bring the knee forwards, inhale back. You're doing the same movement, a slightly different way. So decide whether you're going to do this from tabletop or from downward facing dog. Whichever one you're doing, we'll inhale left leg up first. So you're reaching away through the heel wherever you are. You take an inhale and you exhale left knee towards left elbow. So shoulders will come over the hands if you're in down dog. Yeah. Inhale to kick it back. Fab. Exhale left knee under the body towards right elbow. Inhale up and back. And exhale left knee towards the nose. And that's when we'll step the left foot forward. So your hands might get involved to help you here. We're finding a lunge, a little bit like two right angles with the legs. So let's feel for a sense of drawing up and back through our left hip crease and pressing the front of the right thigh forwards. We'll lift up and out of the waist again, so you've got this length down through the lower back. And we'll bring the hands to prayer at heart center. You can either stay here, keeping the gaze forwards if you're avoiding twisting. You might explore a little twist, so the legs stay sturdy as they are, and the left elbow starts to draw to the side, so you're twisting the upper body. That's one option. You might hook the right elbow over the left knee and steer the chest to the side this way. So find an option that works for you. All as good as each other, just different versions. Then take a few breaths, keeping the stability in the legs and the foundations. Notice if the posture has changed the feeling of the breath at all. Then inhale to face forwards if you're not already. Reach the arms up. And exhale back to a tabletop. You can wiggle out the hips a little bit, take whatever movement you need to take here. Then stay in tabletop if that's what you were working with before. We're doing curls forwards, or come to your downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the heel up and away. Exhale, travel forward to your plank, squeeze right knee to right elbow. Inhale, kick the leg away. Exhale, the knee comes under the body to left elbow. Inhale, reach up and away. Then exhale, curl the knee towards the nose and plant the foot forwards. So we will find our lunge on the other side. You might step this right foot out a little bit, give yourself more space. Sense of drawing back through the right hip crease, pressing the front of that left thigh forwards. There's length through the lower back. From here, let's bring our palms to heart center. And again, you can stay facing forwards, keeping steady with the breath, stable with the foundations. You might turn to face the right a little bit, or you might hook the left elbow over the right thigh and turn the chest to face the right. If all of this is too much for the legs, you can do really similar stuff, again, from seated. Take a few deep, full breaths here in your chosen variation. See if you can send the inhale to the space between your shoulder blades again. And the exhale down to the feet. Inhale back to center if you're not there already, and reach the arms up. Then your choice, you can come back to child's pose, back to a seated rest, or if you like, you might flow through another one of our vinyasas. So coming back to a plank, either lifted with the knees or knees on the floor, take an inhale. Exhale, lower the knees and then the chest, slow and steady as the elbows draw in. Inhale to lift the chest up, gaze down the nose. And exhale to this time lift through the core to take you back to child's pose or to downward facing dog. And reorientate your awareness back to the breath again. So breathe in, where can you feel expanding on the inhale? Breathe out, where can you feel softening with the exhale? When you are ready, lift the head up. And we're going to do a series of movements either from a malasana squat position. So this would be with your toes turned out a little bit, heels slightly in, and hips towards the floor. This is impossible for some people. You can use the edge of a sofa or a chair as well. You can have the toes turned out, heels in, knees out. So a few different ways to do it. If you're crouched down, get a sense of pressing the arms into the legs and then gently pressing the legs into the arms. We're then going to take our right hand towards the floor. If you're in Malasana, it'll be more towards the knee if you're in seated. Inhale, reach this left arm up. And then turn to face it. Exhale, follow the gaze down to the floor. Left hand comes down and inhale, right arm up as you look up. Exhale down. Inhale at the side. That feels really tweaky in the lower back or the hips. You might prefer to come on up to seated. But either way, we're inhale, follow the gaze, lift the hand. Exhale, follow the gaze down. Nice. Do another one on each side. And then come to sit down. So that your legs are forwards. And you might need to sit up on a few cushions here, or might be fine with the bum on the floor. And we will flex the feet. So there's a sense of drawing the little toe edge of the feet back towards you, and a sense of reaching the arches of the feet away. I have got a little bend in my knees here. You might do the same, or you might lengthen the legs out. We're first going to start with this L shape, so you can get length in the back. Roll the shoulders up, back and down a few times. Notice how that feels. It might be a little bit crunchy. We can carry a lot of tension up here in the upper back, so we'll bring a soft, gentle approach to the roll of the shoulders. And then let's stay lifted. Inhale here to reach the crown of the head up to the sky. And exhale to hinge slightly from the hips. So it's a sense of lifting the chest up and then over the legs. We'll inhale again, find your lift back to the L shape. And exhale to reach chest up and over as you hinge forward from the hip. Inhale to reach up and exhale forward. This might literally just be a millimeter as well. And then find your version of a forward fold here. So for lower back issues, you might bend the knees quite a lot, have the feet on the floor, and take more of a little round here. Or you might be finding length through the legs and feeling a stretch in the backs of the legs there, folding forwards. Find what works for you. And wherever you are, take the deep, full breaths. Imagine that the inhale could physically massage the tissues in your body. And come back to a sense of the body working all as one, so the wholeness. When you're ready, inhale to roll back up. And exhale to find your way onto your backs. You can keep the feet on the floor. Take a little moment to notice what it's like to be resting on your back. Change of posture. So let the head be heavy here. Shoulder blades heavy once again. Pelvis heavy. Keep the left foot on the floor as you hug the right knee in towards the right side of the chest. Kick the heel up and away, maybe hold behind the thigh. You could point and flex the foot a few times. See if that changes the sensation in the back of the leg. You could also have a bent knee. You might have more of a straightened leg. And explore a little bit here with your pointing and flexing. All the while, the face is soft, the head is relaxed. I find exploring this kind of reclined posture can be like a forward fold, but it can be a safer way to explore a hamstring stretch without putting too much stress on our vertebrae. So if anyone's hypermobile or has sciatica or anything like that, then this can be a more comfortable alternative to that forward fold type sensation in yoga. You've got your back lovely and long on the floor. Let's take an inhale here. And exhale, we'll find the floor with the right foot. Pick the left foot up so you can hug the left knee in. And then reach the heel up and away, maybe bent knee, maybe straight leg, and point and flex the foot a few times. See how that changes the feeling in the back of the leg. Might be more comfortable for you to not have your hands on the leg at all here, so see what it's like. Keep pointing and flexing. Your head is supported, your neck can relax. Then we will release that foot to the ground. Have the feet about as wide as the mat. And lift the toes off the floor so your feet are flexed and your heels are on the floor. Turn the knees to face out and then in a little bit. So it's like you're turning your feet out, your knees out, and then your knees in, your feet in. And you can keep the arms relaxed. Then when you're ready, let's kick both feet up into the air. Keep a bend in the knees, a little bend, softness in the elbows as the hands rest up. And we'll circle the feet and the hands. You might hear your joints click in. We'll circle the other way as well. Then get yourself set up in Shavasana, so our final resting pose. This can be done on your back, could be done on your side. Some people even prefer to do it in seated. So find what's going to feel supportive for you for your final few moments of rest after the flow. And maybe the eyes close, maybe you're gazing down the nose. Feel the weight of the head resting on the floor. Feel the teeth part, maybe even take a deliberate yawn if that feels available to you. The shoulders rest heavy on the floor. The hands rest heavy, the palms soft. I feel a softness in the belly as well. A real sense of not needing to grip at all. And you might even scan your awareness across your body to notice if there are any patterns that are obvious to you of potential gripping or holding. Is there any way you can release a bit more? Sometimes even like the back of the waist, it can feel like it's lifting away from the floor as though the muscles are gripping our bones up and away from the floor. If that is true to the feeling of sensation that you have, see if you can really let the bones be heavy. So they're resting down into the ground, the muscles relax. It's so vital that we take time to rest, to allow the body to restore. Especially, well, it's important all the time. But sometimes we can find we access that relaxation a tiny bit more after more dynamic movement. So the contrast of the dynamic movement to the relaxation can sometimes help us to rest a bit more. Sometimes not. So see how it feels for you. And we are coming to the hour now, so if you've got longer time to relax, you have a bit of space to do that, feel free to stay where you are. If you're ready to close the practice and head out into the rest of your evening or day, then from your relaxing posture, start to deepen the breath. So maybe take the deepest breath that you might have taken all day. Then bring small movements to the body. So wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, and shift and stir. Maybe rock the head side to side. Take an all body stretch, reaching the hands and the feet away like we did at the very start. So we come full circle. And then hug the knees in towards you, wrapping your arms around the shins or the backs of the thighs. We'll take a little roll over to one side, whichever side comes naturally. And then keeping the eyes away from the screen for the last few moments, gently push yourself up to seated. Any version of seated that works for you. Take a moment to bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart space. Let this be a final moment of awareness to check in with how you're feeling. That could be on an emotional level, it could be physically. Could check in with where your energy levels are at, maybe you're quite tired. And coming back to the theme of honoring the body's innate wholeness, there might be a sense here of welcoming however it is that you are. So all parts of you are welcome. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. And then you might blink the eyes open. That signals the end of our practice together this evening. So a little bit different to last week's, which was much more restorative. And next week is going to be yin yoga. So if you've not practiced that one before, it's where we'll be holding the postures a little bit longer. It's quite quiet and still and introspective. So I'll end the recording there.